Welcome to the Southwest Florida Real Estate Update hosted by the York Group of Downing Fry Realty. Our show will bring you the most up-to-date information on the local real estate market, presented by leading experts in the field. Today's guest is Kinzel, Clerk of the Circuit Court and Comptroller of Collier County.
Crystal, thank you for coming on the show. Let's talk about today about there's a lot of scams that people are stealing properties, right? So what can they do to prevent that from your standpoint and what you're doing with the clerk's office?
Well, thanks, Jim. Thanks for having us. It's been a while since we've gotten together. So we have our ongoing fraud alert system, Risk Alert. If you go to our website, at least for property owners in Collier County or people that would like to register, they can go on our website and register their names, and if they have deeds or information that is being processed through the clerk's office, we will send them an email. Now, obviously that can't prevent, I'll do a little bit of the advertisement, we can't prevent all fraud or whatever,
right.
But it is certainly a signal for the public if something's going on with their property and they get an email saying something's going on and they're not aware of anything should be happening, they can take immediate action with either law enforcement or family or find out what's really going on with their information that's held by the clerk's office. So we have a robust website, and I recommend constantly that the public review their records that are on file with us. Make sure nothing has been. Search their own name for information. Make sure that there's nothing out there that's incorrect or that they believe could be a problem for them in their deed or their property transactions.
Yeah, and if somebody pays off their mortgage, they should look and see if the mortgage company paid it off, right, and recorded that.
Recorded that properly.
And what is the percentage? Isn't the fraud rate going up? You were talking about that off camera here.
Unfortunately, what we often see is the economy gets worse, the fraud gets worse. So as people are struggling in the economy, they tend to look for opportunities to take someone else's wealth or someone else's property. We have seen everything from an individual that tried to satisfy his bank mortgage through himself. So he signed as the person that was settling the mortgage. He was the notary. He was the person. Obviously, if that had not been caught, that is not a proper legal document, they could transact that. Someone else could rely on false information and scam an individual out of their property. We also had an experience with a young man. His father had been scammed here locally, and people had come to him and had him sign documents telling him, oh, this is so we can help your home. This is so we can do things for you. He signed over his property. Now the son was able to get, with law enforcement, prosecute and recover most of what his father had signed over. But these people are out there and their goal is to take something of value from someone else. So,
well, in Collier County, because of the increase in prices of everything, so people are renting a lot more of their units out or their homes. So tell people how they maybe can do a background check on their own on a particular renter that might be wanting to rent their property.
Well, thank you. Yes, another part of our public records, in addition to the official records, which are the land records in Collier County, we also maintain all of the court records for Collier County. So if you are a landlord going to rent to someone, or if you're a renter going to check out a landlord, I always suggest they come to our court website, search the names of the individuals to see, are they prone to evict a lot of people? Are they prone to have violence in their area? You can find a lot of information by using the website.
And how about, where are all these areas that people can register their new cars and all your new buildings? And I know Heritage Bay is a new area that they can go to.
Right.
You should talk to everybody about where new people coming in town, where they
Right. We have about 9 locations right now, everything from Marco Island, Everglades City, to Heritage Bay at 951, and which Collier Boulevard for the new arrivals to town. and Immokalee Road intersection. We have joint operations, and we try to do this with as many of the constitutionals as we can. So we co-locate with the tax collector, and we're expanding the services that we have at the satellites. Previously, we could accept fines there, or you could transact some court clerk business, but now we're going to partner that with our courts so that we can e-record, e-file, assist people with all of the records, certified documents, filings, handle each satellite like a mini courthouse. That keeps people from having to drive to the campus here, which is crowded, parking sometimes, some of the security protocols. So our satellites are a little bit friendlier, smaller area. Now, Heritage Bay is quickly becoming our busiest. Orange Blossom is currently still ahead on the busiest, but we have Golden Gate, we have Eagle Creek, Marco, and each of those, by the end of this summer, we hope to have this functionality expanded to those areas.
And those people that want to travel out of the country and want to expedite maybe their passport, they need to renew it. Tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, that's another easy button on our website at callyourclerk.com. If they go to the website, click on the passports, they can see all of our locations that do handle passports. Now, we handle mostly new passports. We can help you put together your package to submit to either Tampa, Miami, and facilitate making sure that the documentation is appropriate. We are a certified passport agent. We're the only one in Collier County that can help with that. We soon will also be able to take their photos for their passports, so it would be a one-stop shop for that new passport. And I also want to recommend, I have gotten calls from individuals in community with an emergency and then, oh my gosh, my passport is expired.
Right.
And while we don't do the renewals, we can help them maybe navigate with the agencies so that they can remedy that. So we've had that happen, and we've been very successful in helping them fix their documents quickly so that they recover whatever it was they were on the way to do.
And some of our viewers might want to know, we talk about this in some seminars we do, how many people are in Collier County, and what is when the season comes, how much does it go up and down?
Right now we're sitting at about 359,000 permanent residents, but we go up as much as 100,000 additional tourists during season, which is typically any time after Thanksgiving and around Easter. So those are our peak periods of population. And so obviously at 359,000 permanent, we have a robust business, transacting housing, but also with our visitors, the workload and everything increases. I'm sure restaurants, everyone is busier during that period.
And I know I might be throwing you a little bit of a curve here, but recordings, could you just off the top of your head what you're seeing in real estate recordings?
Well, it
or
is
the
interesting.
Past year, let's say.
The past year we had, believe it or not, most people would believe it, I guess, because of the mass exodus from the north to Florida. And Collier County is no exception. Even with our high prices, we're still seeing significant property transactions, cash-based, not mortgage involved, but people coming to Collier County, paying cash for their real estate. We have had as much as 4 million in doc stamps. Doc stamps are what you pay when you have to record a property transaction. So we monitor that. How much are we doing daily, weekly? And we have dipped as much. And we were a little concerned December, January timeframe. I think still recovering from the hurricane, some of that impact. We were down to about 1 million a week, and now, but we've seen it uptick again. Starting in February and March, the revenues are upticking from the doc stamps. So I think we are still fairly healthy, not nearly as healthy as 21, 22, where we were making 4 or 5 million a week in those transactions. Now, I don't want the taxpayers to think, unfortunately, we don't get to keep all that money here in Collier County.
Right.
That obviously goes to the state and pays for some other things that we do as a government.
And some people that, I know maybe you want to talk about this or not, but there's some people that had flood damage and were out of their house, the county is giving some credit towards tax benefits for that, real
Right.
estate tax
Yeah,
benefit.
no, thanks for mentioning that, because that was a program that I don't think got a lot of publicity, but it's actually the legislature. Last year, they had an emergency session because of the hurricane and the hurricane damage. So one of the things they enacted was a program if people were displaced out of their property in Collier County and in the state. So this applies to the state of Florida. If they were displaced for more than 30 days and have evidence of that, they can apply with the property appraiser's office to get a reduction in their property taxes for the last quarter of last year. So even if they have paid their property taxes, they can file with the property appraiser. He will do an assessment. And the way the clerk's office is involved in that is that if the property appraiser disagrees with an application and the homeowner believes that that application is correct, they can avail themselves of a value adjustment board hearing. And that's facilitated through the clerk's office. But I would really recommend, if people have a valid claim and have been displaced, then they can use those refunded property taxes to help recover. And that was the purpose of the legislation.
Well, and finally, I know this is a big thing for you, okay, is big question. Okay, is that people that don't want to spend a lot of money on weddings, that Valentine's Day you do something special, right?
Oh, thanks. That's one of my great fun things.
I
I'm
know.
glad you asked about that. We had a great, I do a lot of things like people pay traffic fines and they come to the courthouse for bad things. But one of the other duties of the clerk of courts is actually to issue the marriage licenses here in Collier County. And every Valentine's Day, I do a special ceremony for either vow renewals for people in the audience that are already married. We have vow renewals. Last Valentine's Day, I had 19 vow renewals and 10 couples that were newly married at an event. And we get community sponsors, so if anyone likes to sponsor, Seed to Table provides our cake. We had 21 Spices this year that provided us the food and everything. So it's not on the taxpayers, but it is something that we really enjoy doing for the community, and I hope to do it every single year.
Well, thank you for coming on the show. You did a wonderful job, and I hope our viewers enjoyed the show, and thank you.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you.